take a look at everything today and spend some time over the weekend and go through the training courses and the forum and get a good handle of this over the weekend, and hopefully be able to start using Apex order prints alongside of an order prints chart up alongside of your normal Apex trading systems and other systems you may use on Monday morning. So I appreciate you taking some time out today, and welcome here to this webinar for the Apex release of the new order prints indicators. And we do have a complete forum section set up for you. We do have step-by-step training courses and videos made for you. I'm going to show you here in just a little bit where you can get access to that, and I'll show you where this webinar recording will be and everything. So we're going to go through a little bit. I'm going to kind of step back here and do a little rewind and kind of set the stage a little bit for you. But I want to give you a little glimpse here of the meat and potatoes. And this webinar may go a little bit long today, but you know, you really need kind of the foundation and some meat and potatoes here. But you know, what are we going to end up getting to here? And what is Apex order prints? Well, here's a quick screenshot of a chart of Apex order prints, and you can see I've got this here on diagnostic bars. And basically, in a nutshell, what order prints is order prints is kind of a magnifying glass here. It kind of zooms in and lets you see what's going on within the bar itself. You know, at Apex, we've got tons of things on the charts that we give you, and indicators and levels and so on. But order prints kind of zooms in and lets you see what's going on inside the bar itself. Okay, imagine you're sitting at a poker table and you can get a glimpse into the cards of what, you know, what the other players are holding there. Okay, doesn't mean you know what the next card is going to be or what the dealer's going to do necessarily, but you get a glimpse inside of the cards that they're holding and what's going on inside the bars. Okay, and you can see that on the bid and ask side, you get to see exactly, you know, how many contracts were executed there at that particular price level on each side. And you get to see, you know, what the total volume is and net volume is. We'll get into all that, and you know, what do these, you know, blue shades mean, and what do these stars mean, and momentum and leading volume, and it helps you get a glimpse of what's happening there, okay, within the bar. And how we're going to talk about, you know, how you can take advantage of that and how you can use that as some extra confirmation. Let me give you just a little quick glimpse here of what I'm going to be getting to. That way, you know, it's kind of worth your time to stick through some of the setup that I'm going to be going through here. How about some of you guys, just a real quick example, how about some of you guys that are IZSS traders, right? When you're waiting on an IZSS entry and waiting on your trend catcher arrows, and you're getting an entry there. And sometimes you're like, well, there's other levels close, or what about this, what about that? And what if you had Apex order prints to help confirm that, just an extra confirmation for that for you? And you may not know what some of these screenshots mean just yet, and we're going to get into that. But as you can see, this bar right here, we had what we called net volume acceleration. Okay, see this lightning bolt here? It's net volume acceleration, showing there was a lot more buy orders in this bar than there were sell orders. See this star right here, momentum. Okay, that's showing you there's some momentum in that bar. See this blue shade right here, that's called leading volume. All right, that bar closes some leading volume. Just an extra indication when you're looking at your existing entries of, hey, okay, you know, I'm looking at this entry and I see that the bar closed up. Okay, well, that's great to know the bar closed up, but what happened inside that bar? Does it look like that bar's got some momentum going that direction? Okay, it just gives you some extra indication of what's going on inside the bar and some extra confirmation for some entries you might be looking at. What about another example of some IZSS? How many times have you guys had an IZSS type entry and you would have entered right here, and then what happens right away? The market falls back down and retraces, right? We've all had that happen a million times, and your heart starts racing, your heart starts beating, you start seeing your P&L go down, right? Well, what if you did combine order prints with an IZSS confirmation? And let's say that it didn't quite get you in till right here. That's just barely above your normal level of entry there, right? But see what happened right here when the market pulled back? Well, it's on this bar right here. See that? Where you've got some pullback, and then on this bar right here where you've got this wick, but when the bar closed, what do you have? We've got another lightning bolt here, total volume acceleration. Okay, We've got long net volume. We've got momentum. We've got the star there. Okay, we've got some imbalances. We've got leading volume blue here, kind of showing you, all right, hey, we did a little pullback, but now that it's closed, we've got some volume behind it to take off. Okay, these are the kind of things that I want to show you here. All right, how about you guys that, you know, trade swing trades on IZSS chart, right? When we're in an IZSS trade and the market comes up and then the market pulls back, and then when the market comes back up and it breaks that previous swing high and we want to enter a few ticks above that, wouldn't it be nice to possibly have a confirmation as well using order prints to see what happened in that bar? Yes, the bar closed up. That's what's telling us, hey, we might want to take this, but what's going on in that bar? Did we get some momentum? Did we get some leading volume and some imbalances? Just an extra confirmation there, okay? I want to kind of show you, you know, some IZSS trades, some VAD trades, some C's trades, you know, power plays. Some of you guys like to trade elevators, right? With the VAD or the C system, where the market's coming up, and then we have a down closed bar, and then we have an up closed bar. We call it an elevator, right? Okay, and then when the market breaks 3 ticks, you know, above the top of this bar, which we can't see, we enter. All right, and what happens right at 3 ticks when this bar closes? Well, we've got some good confidence when we've got leading volume with the blue shade there. We've got momentum with the star. Okay, we've got some lightning bolt there with the acceleration, right? Giving us a little more confidence to take that elevator trade, right? Because we see not just the bar closed up, but what happened inside of that bar. And what is order prints telling us at the close of that bar? It gives us a lot more confidence, right? Look at an opposite example here. The market's popping up, then we've got a down closed bar and an up closed bar, an elevator setup, right? But wait a minute, what do we see here? We've got a lightning bolt on the left side, on the downside, on the short side. There's acceleration rate of volume going the other way. We've got net volume negative. There was more volume in this bar to the downside. We might not want to take that elevator trade. And look, we're kind of happy we didn't, right? Because what happens? We get one up closed bar, market goes down. Okay? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk you through kind of the, you know, inner workings of what is order prints and why order prints, and then walk you through how to help show you where to go to help understand what all these things mean. And then we're going to get back to some of these trade examples here, and you can utilize these with extra confirmation to your other Apex systems, and it's going to be some good stuff here. So stick around and bear with me here as we go through it all. Okay, so let's just back up a little bit here. I want to talk to you a little bit about a roadmap. Okay, I'm going to title this the Apex Roadmap. Bear with me a little bit here. Let's talk about a journey. Let's talk about a travel. All right, where are you going? Where's the destination you're going? And if you're going somewhere, you need a big picture overview. Okay, you need to see the overall big picture of where you're going. You also need a zoomed in, you know, overview with more details. And let me just pull over Google Maps here. Just kind of help us piece this all together. Let's just say that you wanted to go on a little trip and you wanted to visit the New York Stock Exchange, right? You want to go check out the NYSE, and you pull up Google Maps. And this shows you, okay, there's the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, well, can you leave your house, your home, where you live, and get to the New York Stock Exchange just with this picture right here, just with this map right here? If you've never been there, never been to New York, never. No, you couldn't get there, right? You need a little more than just that overview. It's nice to have the overview, but you need a little bit more. And you can start scrolling in and get a little better picture, a little better picture. Then you're starting to see, okay, now I see the, you know, name and number of some kind of major highways, some different routes to possibly get there. Get the overview. Now I'm seeing a little more clearer. And I'm zooming in, starting to see, okay, here's some of the major arteries to get there, major roadways to look out for and be aware of. And as you zoom in closer, then you start to see, you know, some more major roadways. You start to see some highways, and then you start to see some other intersections here. and some different routes you could take to get there, okay? And I could take Church Street, I could take Broadway, I could take Pearl Street. You see these levels, okay? If I want to equate them to trading, you start seeing these different levels, these different major roadways to be aware of as you're on your path. Various directions you could go. And you zoom in even further, now you start to see some of the smaller cross streets to look out for, okay? And you can zoom all the way in and get more and more information. You get a great overview of all the different roadways you could take, all the different directions you could take, and many different ways to get to your destination, all the way zooming in to a nice aerial picture here, okay? But let's look at it again. If this right here, this zoomed in picture, was the only picture you had, could you get there from your home? No, you can't do that either, can you? So you need all the different aspects here, okay? And it's the same with trading. You need all the information to guide you. And that's what we give you here at Apex, is everything you need to know, okay? From the broad spectrum to the very magnifying glass of order prints that I just showed you there, okay? And with trading, you can have an overall picture. You can use, all of the different Apex indicators and strategies on different types of bars. You can look at a monthly chart here to get a good overview of what the market's been doing over the last month, and weekly charts. You can pull up a daily chart to see what it's been doing. You can pull up an hourly chart to see how you're looking today, and even a 5-minute chart to kind of see a little more short term. We even give you diagnostic bars to take time out of the equation and use strictly price action bars, much smoother than time-based bars, to give you a great idea of what the market's doing. You could use continuum bars that combine price action and time. Apex provides all of our strategies and indicators, or all of our indicators work on these different types of bars to show you every aspect you want, whether it's short-term, long-term, time-based and price action together, price action only. Provide all that for you, okay? We've got different levels that we give you, deviation levels and ICE levels. If we think back to the Google Maps, kind of show you some of the major roadways and major highways that you need to be aware of on your journey, right? Of what can happen at those major roadways and those major highways. We've got institutional levels showing you some of those major intersections to be aware of what direction you could go or what direction the market could go. And those major levels, just like on your travel there, what can you expect as you're planning your journey there? There could be some possible traffic and congestion up ahead, right? At some of these major roadways, like deviation levels and ICE and institutional zones, all right? You might be heading that direction and get to that major roadway and might have to take a detour, right? The market may kind of take a detour there and put you another way. You may be directed to turn around and go the other way, or it could just bottleneck right there for a while and then let you on the highway and take off, okay? And that's what those roadways and those different levels are for, just like on your journey, all right? Here's an example here of, of those institutional zones, and using the continuum bars and all the different indicators that Apex offers you. Trend indicators, short-term trends, long-term trends, chop indicators, all right, telling you which way to go on this journey, what could happen at these major roadways, all right? When you hit these major roadways, where is traffic being directed to? Where's the flow of traffic going at these major roadways and intersections? All right, your roadmap to what is going on with the market and where is the rest of traffic going. We look at VAD, our volume accumulation distribution indicator. All right, and VAD doesn't measure volume just within each individual bar. It's an accumulation of volume within that push up, within that trend up. And it lets you see, hey, not just in the single bar, but overall in this trend, volume built to here, accumulated to here. Okay, where's the rest of traffic going? Where are a lot of people going in that same direction? How many travelers are going there? All right, and as you see, if you're familiar with VAD, for example, VAD builds up here, VAD builds up here, makes even higher highs. Hey, traffic's still going that way. The majority push and momentum of traffic's going that way. Starts to slow down a little here, goes even further down towards the destination and makes even higher highs with lower volume. Hey, maybe traffic's not starting to go that route. I was like, I enjoyed following the flow of traffic and heading that way. Now traffic, the majority of traffic started to not head that way anymore. Less and less people are heading that way. It's making higher highs at a major intersection level on lower volume. Maybe not so many travelers are heading that direction anymore. Maybe I don't want to go that direction anymore. And then what happens? At that major intersection, traffic goes the other way, right? We have our C's chart that combines all these different levels together, okay? Showing you high and lows of today and yesterday, showing you the deviation levels, the ice levels, all of the intersections, everything you need on your map there, okay? We've got the MVP indicator showing you overall direction of where's traffic going. We've got the trend catcher indicator that even shows you the short-term detours of traffic. Gives you a cyan arrow like a, hey, heads up, might change. And then you get a red or green confirmation arrows saying, go, stop, go this direction. Kind of like a traffic light, right? Red, green, yellow, stop, go, be aware, could change on your journey there. You've got you see these boxes here, expected ranges. This takes in, historically, what is the expected movement of the market during, this week of the month, this day of the week, this time of the hour? What does the market normally do, high to lows? Expected volume, all right? What's the normal volume for this time frame of that day of the week and hour of the day and minute of the hour, all right? Everything you need to know, all right, for your journey, as well as hundreds of hours of free education, forums, step-by-step training courses, videos, scanners, live trade rooms, great leaders in the trade rooms, news calendars, trading plans, great mentors and leaders in the room, and a full-service help desk. Everything you need to know on your journey of trading, okay, to get right to the front door of your destination, all right? But again, back to diagnostic bars here, zooming right into where you want to be, to where you want to go. And just as the example here again, the New York Stock Exchange, you can zoom right in to get right to the front door of your destination there. You can even go to Google Earth and it'll show you a picture of the building. But what do you do once you get inside the building? Where do you go? What direction do you go? What hallway do you go down? You looked at the map and knew what major highways and roads and intersections and cross streets to go. Now that you get into your destination, what smaller directions do you go? What smaller roadways do you go down? What hallway do you go? Do you go left, right, up, down? Do you take the stairs up? Do you hop on an elevator? I just showed you kind of an example here. I kind of peeked ahead there. Speaking of quote-unquote elevators, I showed you how order prints kind of shows you to take an elevator or not, right? And again, that's what order prints is letting you see inside the bar, okay? Not only taking you to the front door, but what's inside of it and what's going on. Where is not just the roads to get to my destination and what is the traffic conditions on those roads to get to my destination, but even when I get inside the front door, what's the traffic doing inside the bar? What's happening inside the bar? And it's pretty amazing to see inside the bar, right? But seeing this alone doesn't do much for you, does it? Right? If all you saw was just a zoomed in picture of inside the bar, that's not enough for you either, is it? Just like with your destination, you have to see the overall picture. Okay, you need it all put together, and that's what we're trying to provide for you here at Apex Investing, is to give you everything that you need there. So let's jump right into it. Apex Order Prints Indicator is now available to you in your toolkit. So if you upgrade your toolkit to the most recent version of the toolkit, you will be able to add on the Apex Order Prints Indicator. And let me just pull up here. I've got a chart open up here, and I've got some market replay on it. Let me just walk you through this just a little bit here real quick. So if you upgrade your toolkit, open up a chart, go to Indicators, and you'll see it right here under Apex institutional order prints. Okay, and you add that on to the chart. I'll kind of walk through a few settings here with you in just a moment. And once you add that onto the chart, like I said, I've got some replay up here so I can show you. So let me just kind of start this. So once you add it onto the chart and it starts moving for you, here's what you're going to see. Here's how you see it start to build. A couple important things here. This is all covered in the step-by-step training course. I just wanted to make a few observations for you. All right, just point out a few things. This is how you'll start to see it building. All right, as you add it on to your charts and the market starts to move, you're going to start seeing it keep track and show you there of orders executed on the bid and the ask side. Okay, now very important here, and I'm going to speed up replay here in just a second. Keep in mind that since it was not loaded, all right, since it was not loaded before this time, you're just going to see regular diagnostic bars, okay? And it's only going to load live data as it's coming in, okay? So sometimes some of the different indications on order prints take into account what happened on the last few bars and number of contracts on the last few bars. So if you just added on the indicator, okay, and you get this first bar to close, and you've got some directional indications there, leading volume and order, accelerate. You're not going to have some of those on that first bar. All right, you never want to take a trade confirmation based on what you see on that first bar. You want to at least give it a second, maybe even a third bar, to be able to take into account what's happened on the last few bars. Does that make sense? Okay, so never take that first bar that you open as an indication. Okay, let me just speed it up here real quick so I can let you see what's happening here. All right, so as time goes on, here's what you're going to see on your chart, and here's what Apex order prints is going to look like, okay, on your chart. Now, a couple things. Let me go ahead and pause it now. Depending on your chart and how you have it zoomed and the bar sizes and the size of your screen and so on, sometimes what might happen is your chart, and again, this is all covered in the training. I'm not going to cover every aspect here. I'm just going to show you a few things. Sometimes this is what you may see. And you're like, hey, I can't see the numbers. I see these stars and bolts and colors, but I can't see the numbers, okay? And sometimes you have to zoom in on your chart or spread your chart out. A couple of different ways you could do that. You could hold down your control key and hit your up or down arrows, okay? And that will zoom in and out. Or you can just click your mouse right here on the timestamp and pull it in, pull it out, okay? In the training courses, we go over how to adjust some bar sizes, because you can also hit your Alt key on your keyboard and hit up or down arrows to make larger or smaller bars. But if your bars are too big, it's going to cover up those numbers, and then you've got to scroll like way out here. Okay, so you can set your bar settings to 0 or 1. Okay, if you go here into your data series, you can set them right here, bar width. You can set that to 0 or 1. Or again, you can just use your Alt key and up or down arrow. All right, to zoom it just how you want and zoom in and out with your time stamps and so on. Okay, so that is how you add on the order prints indicator. That is how it will start to plot for you when you first put it on. And again, beware, let it go a couple of bars. And that's how order prints will look for you there. All right, and how you can kind of adjust your chart back and forth there a little bit. Now, to start off with, you go ahead and leave the, let me go back to the indicator here. And if you go to the indicator, there's a ton of different settings in here. All right, and we currently have it loaded with certain defaults, and I would suggest starting off that you leave all of those defaults as they are. All right, and again, if you go through the forum and the training course that I'll show you here in just a moment, it talks to you about how you can go in and adjust some of these things. If there's certain features that you don't use, if you start to test this out, let's say you're an IZSS trader and you're testing out order prints side by side to help give you confirmation, and you figure out, hey, I don't use all of these different things. I only use certain things. so I only want those on my chart. Well, you can go in, and if you see each section here is broken down, imbalances, zones of interest, exhaustion, but if you go towards the bottom here, there's a specific section that combines everything that says display options, and it's just show this, show this, show this, true or false. Do you want it to show or not show? You can just go in there and change it. Okay. Let's say that after you get a good handle on it, let's say you have a special chart background color you like to use, and certain of these indications are not really that visible for you. Can you go in and change it to a different color to make it more visible for you? Yes, you can. You can customize this a million different ways with using certain indications. Yes, true, some false, different colors, however you want. All right, but for now, there's a lot to learn and comprehend and get a handle on with order prints. I would suggest that you leave everything defaulted for now until you get a good handle on it. Then you can go and adjust from there. Okay, so that is order prints and what it looks like. Now, I'm going to stop you here, and you're going to hear me say this multiple times. Order prints is not a system. Okay, and I'm going to say it again. Order prints is not a system. It's an indicator. All right, it's an added tool for additional confirmations, possibly additional entries on the existing Apex system. It's just a magnifying glass to see deeper inside the market as to what's going on. All right, and as you saw, there's multiple aspects to order prints. Some of them we use as directional indications. Some we use more for managing the trade and looking at certain levels, seeing what's happening within the bars for helping to manage our stops and trailing stops or maybe potential reversals. But this does not change system rules. All right, this is not something we're telling you that, okay, now we have order prints. Add the order prints confirmation on as a rule to every single Apex system we have. This is now a new rule. It's not. It's not required, and it's optional. And you're not trading order prints. Okay? If you're trading C's, for example, you're trading C's. Just because you add order prints to it, that just helps you with some extra confirmation. You're not suddenly trading order prints and using C's to confirm order prints. Using order prints to confirm C's. All right, does that make sense? I'm going to say it again. Order prints is not a system, it's an indicator. Just an extra confirmation piece for you. So, all right, so to upgrade your toolkit, and to, if you upgrade your toolkit, the order prints indicator is now in there, and I showed you how to add that on and a few tips there. All right, so if you're at the home page of, let me just pull this over here. If you're at the home page of the Apex Investing website, all right, if you go here under Start Elite Education, I have it under Futures, right here, Apex Institutional Order Prints Training Course. Okay, if you go under Nadex Spreads, and you go here to Spread Systems, showing you the different systems and how to use different indicators for those systems, you'll see it right there, Apex Institutional Order Prints Training Course. Got it under Nadex Binaries. Okay, if you go under Binary Systems and Indicators, it's listed right there as well. Institutional Order Prints Training Course. Okay, so if you go through the training course, some of the videos are a little bit longer, but notice there's only 4 videos here in this training course. So there's not a long, 12 or 15 videos. I go through the roadmap, which I kind of just covered with you there. I go through, introduction to order prints, some of the different facets of what it is. Then we get into terms and definitions, walking you through what are all those different colors and different numbers, what do they mean? And then kind of how to simplify it and put it all together and use it for some trade confirmation. Okay, so right there is the training course. In the training course, there is a direct link to the forum area. All you got to do is click there. All right, but again, if you go back to the home page here, I just want to show you where to go next to get all the information you need here. If you go to the Help Desk and Forum tab, go to Trading Questions Forum, and yeah, I popped it up there live last night. Marion says, I already took the first 2 units. Marion's jumping ahead of us here. Way to go. So if you go to the forum here and you scroll down to S6, which is section 6, which is Apex Indicators, okay, it's right here, institutional order prints, okay. So if you go here to institutional order prints, we've got a couple different sections in here, all right, and you'll see this very first section right here is order prints, terms, and definitions. This is where you want to start off, okay. This is where you want to start here because this is terms and definitions. The next one is we put it all together, simplifying it and how to trade it. Okay, and this is where I walk through some examples of how to use it to confirm other systems. The next one is share your results. As you're playing with it, this is where you go in and share your results. Share some screenshots of, hey, I was trading, C's today and I used OP to confirm this particular trade, and here's kind of the different aspects of OP that I was really looking at, and here's why I liked this or didn't like this, and share your results, share your finding. Okay, again, OP is not a system, it's a confirmation, but I'm sure with all of you guys trading this and testing this, I'm sure that we're going to find all kind of little extra strategies we can put in, okay, and different things that you can do with it. All right. Let's say that, for example, we were talking a minute ago about charts, okay, and let's say that you leave all your defaults on here and you see everything on the chart, but you see another trader post a chart that only has certain aspects of order prints and really cleans up the chart, and you like that. You're like, hey, I want to use that chart. How did you do that? Okay. Well, if someone specifically asks you for your chart, don't be posting screenshots of, well, here's screenshot 1 through 10 and I put this at this and this at this. No, there's a way for you to go in, and once you've customized the chart, right here under settings, you can copy these serialized settings over, and somebody can put those in their own chart and have your chart exactly. Okay, and that's what this section of the forum is for right here. Share your serialized settings. And if you go in there, Lori went through and put an explanation here. Please follow these very closely, follow these rules here of exactly when to share those settings, how to share them, how to post it, and walks you through exactly what to do. Okay, so that is the 4 sections there of the order prints forum section. So let's just go through this real briefly here. All of this is covered in the training, but right here, order prints, terms, and definitions. I want you to see here how this is laid out and kind of know what you're getting into here. Okay, first of all, each aspect of order prints is listed here in alphabetical order to make it easy for you to find. All right, so if you go through here, each little aspect of order prints is in alphabetical order. Absorption. What is absorption? It goes through and explains to you exactly what absorption is. You've got a screenshot showing it to you. You've got arrows right to the actual, showing you how it pops up on your chart and explanations there. All right. You can go through acceleration. What is acceleration? Explains it to you, gives you a screenshot and text, arrows directly to each one of these things. All right. There's a lot of things to cover here and go through, but everything is laid out for you. That way you can go through it with written examples, chart examples, arrows, and explanations, and start to get a handle on these things step by step. Okay. Then at the bottom, all right, at the bottom, all right, in this section here, they're listed out alphabetically. At the bottom here, I've got them broken out for you and showing you, okay, that's a lot to go through, but we're going to break them down into 2 categories for you. Out of all those that were listed alphabetically, here's the list of which ones are to be considered directional bias features. And then here's a list of which ones are to be considered more trade management features. Okay, remember I brought that up earlier. Some of these are directional bias. What's going in that bar, on in that bar directionally. Other things can be used more as trade management features of trailing stops and moving stops and so on. Okay, some aspects can be used with both. Okay, so that way it kind of helps you break down, okay, There's an alphabetical, easy reference. Now, here's a breakdown of which ones are directional, which ones are trade management. What I'm going to suggest for you, since there is a lot to learn and absorb with order prints, is starting off, don't try to take it all in at once. You're going to overwhelm yourself. Start somewhere and build. And where you want to start is with the directional bias features. Okay, once you get a good handle on those, then you can take on some trade management features. But for now, just stick with the trade management rules of the current Apex system you're trading. Stick with your stops there, stick with your trailing stops there. So learn the directional bias features first, okay? Then later on you can go back and spend some more time learning the trade management features. Break it up a little bit, okay? So here I've got listed out the directional bias features. Okay, and there's multiple different ones. I want you to go through this section on your own. I want you to go through this forum section, reading each section, checking out the screenshots on your own and on your own time to get a handle of it. I want you to go through the step-by-step training course videos. But there are a few different ones I do want to just kind of bring up here on this webinar to bring your attention to. Okay, some that stand out maybe a little more than others, some that might have a little more power behind them than others, at least starting off with. I want to help simplify this for you starting off. Okay, so let me bring out let me bring up a few of them here. First of all, let me go back and pull up this chart. Okay, let me just help you make heads or tails of a couple things real quick here. Okay, when we're looking at this chart, and you're saying, man, I don't know what all this stuff is. Let's just look, for example, at this bar right here. Okay? This bar right here. Okay, let's start at the top. What is this number at the top? What in the world does that number mean? This number at the top, okay, and you see on all these bars here, there's two numbers. This number at the top is called total volume. All right, what does that mean? That's the total volume within the bar. So in this particular bar right here, okay, it shows us at each one of these price levels how many orders were executed on the bid side and how many orders were executed on the ask side, right? So if I was to add up all of this side and all of this side, if I was to add up all the contracts that were executed in this bar, the total would be 318. Okay? The total contracts all executed in this bar would be 273. Easy enough, right? Total volume. What is this next set of numbers here? Notice this set of numbers has a green shade. This set of numbers has a red shade. Okay, well, 318 is the total number of contracts executed. Total volume. This next section here is called net volume. What does net volume mean? And why is net volume green? Well, can you take a guess? That means that in this bar, 318 contracts, but there were 96 more contracts bought, green, than there were sold contracts. Easy enough, right? Total volume, net volume. So I know there was 96 more contracts bought in this bar. What about this bar right here? 234 is the total amount of contracts in the bar, and there were what? 30 more contracts sold than there were bought. That's easy enough, right? Make sense? Okay, so total volume, net volume. Okay, what about this bar? Bar closed up, right? With a total of 2,367 contracts in this bar. But even though it was an up-closed bar, there were overall 71 more sellers in this bar. Because you see how the market really pushed down here, right? Okay? So, total volume and net volume. What about these lightning bolts? See these lightning bolt right here? That's called acceleration. And notice the lightning bolt was in the total volume section. That's called total volume acceleration, which means what? Acceleration means there was a huge increase in total volume. Well, why do we say that? Well, look at these bars beforehand. How many contracts were in this bar? Total, 914. This bar had a total of 230. This bar had a total of 569. Boom. You go from 230, 569 to almost 3,500 contracts. Wouldn't you say that's a kind of an acceleration, a pickup, a big increase of total volume of a bar? Right? Make sense? Total volume acceleration. So can you see where that's something good to know? Of, hey, what was the total volume in that bar? How does it compare to the other total volumes? Well, in that bar, who won in that bar? Who won the struggle, the bears or the bulls? And by how much did they win? Oh, all of a sudden a bar has a lot more volume in it than all the previous bars, so there's total volume acceleration. Make sense? Easy enough? Okay. Let's see here. What about, let me find another quick example for you here. Okay, this one right here. So we see total volume acceleration, lightning bolt. We also see net volume acceleration. Well, what does that mean? Well, this bar closed down and there were 230 more sellers than there were buyers, right? And there's a lightning bolt under net volume. So that's called net volume acceleration. Well, why is that showing there? Well, look at net volume. 89, 96, 161, 88, boom, 230. That's a big difference of net volume compared to the previous bars, right? So there's net volume acceleration. Simple enough, right? So now when you first looked at this screenshot, you're like, man, what is all this stuff? Now that top piece makes a little more sense, doesn't it? And you understand why it's there. Okay? Check out this green star right here. It's this green star. That's called momentum. Okay? Showing that when this bar closed, there's momentum in this bar. Okay? And isn't that something you'd like to be able to know when a bar closes? Is there some momentum behind that bar? Because if there's some momentum behind that bar, what is there a pretty decent chance of happening perhaps? Especially if you got another setup. Well, if the market's going up and the bar's closing up with some momentum, might have a little movement behind it, right? Okay. Now, look at this bar. There's an X, not a star, but an X. That's called absorption. Okay, and what that means is down here, see the market pulled down here? It was coming down and it came down here and just the sellers were absorbed, right? They just couldn't push it down anymore. The market came up. So what this X is telling you is, hey, notice X means absorption was down here and it's painted green. That doesn't mean there was green absorption. That doesn't mean the buyers were absorbed. That means the sellers were absorbed. There's absorption in this bar. We're painting it green here to let you know it's an upward bias. So don't be confused when you say, okay, X is absorption and it's green. So that means the buyers were absorbed. No. What that means is it's just like all of our other indicators, red, green. Okay? It's saying, hey, there was absorption down here on this bar. And we're showing it green, showing that the bias is green. Okay? The bias is up. Okay? So there was, look at this. The bar closed up. There was negative net volume. So you have an up closed bar, but there were more sellers in this bar, right? 71 more sellers in this bar, or 71 more sold contracts in this bar, right? But it's telling you they were absorbed down here. There's absorption, and the bias is long. Then what happens on the next bar? You get another up close bar with what? Momentum. See these blue shades here? Okay, that's what's called a leading volume. So not only is there overall momentum in this bar, which is calculated a particular way, there was also leading volume here at these price levels pushing the market. Okay, see that? So here we had, so just kind of look at this in an overall picture real quick. Yep, Myron, you beat me to it. Yep. So this was an up close bar, but it had negative net volume, which in a sense might be a concern to you, like, wait a minute, this bar closed up, but it had more sellers. So I need to be careful here. What's going on? But I'm seeing that there was absorption of sellers down here. There's more sellers because all those sellers were down here trying to keep pushing, but they got absorbed and the bar closed up. So there were more net sellers, but the bar closed up and it's showing me the sellers were absorbed. And it's giving me a green absorption, so showing me there's a long bias. The very next bar, what changes? From negative net volume to what? Positive net volume. Okay? And I've got momentum, and I've got leading volume in this bar. So even though we've just right now started to cover order prints with you, can you already see right there? Does that make sense to you right there? What's going on and what could potentially happen? I mean, you see it, right? I mean, I'm not even having, this is just some random chart I pulled up here and did some replay. Like, you're already starting to get it, right? And if all you saw was just blank diagnostic bars, would you ever know those things were going on inside that bar? Would you ever have any clue to this? Right. So isn't that pretty cool? Okay. Well, I can't run it real time, okay, because the markets are closed right now. And to just stay on the webinar as it went tick by tick, you know, even if it was during the week, just to run it tick by tick would just put us on the webinar for hours here. You know what I mean? So you see what I mean there? So you kind of get an understanding of what's behind there. Okay? So those are some main features I wanted to point out to you there. Okay, can you see just those few main features right there of total volume, net volume, and then volume acceleration, absorption, momentum, and leading volume? Can you see just with those few aspects of directional bias aspects, even if you just started to learn those few right there, do you see how that could help? Okay. So do you see where you don't need to necessarily sit here going, oh, wow, this is going to take forever to learn all this stuff on this chart, and, you know, all those things you just showed me there in alphabetical order and all the things I've got to learn and this and that. Oh, my goodness, this is just overwhelming. This is too much. Can you see we're just starting off with just a handful of those few things can help you out quite a bit? Does that make sense? Okay, guys, I know you are asking a lot of questions. I'm not ignoring your questions. I'm just trying to get through the meat and potatoes here to not keep everybody, and then I'll try to go back and answer some. Okay, but most of what I'm seeing come through is going to be answered in some of the next sections, or it's all answered in the course. So I'm not ignoring you here. I'm just trying to keep us on track. So just even those handful of few things there can really help you, right? Okay. One other real quick that I just want to show you to be aware of. Let's see here. Those were the main, those are kind of the main ones I really, okay. See this right here? See this red, maybe look orange, but red print at the top of this bar? Okay. That's what's called a paw print. All right. What is a paw print? Paul print's just showing you a weak price level. Okay, so as the market's coming down and then the market tries to pop up here, right? See this long wick, the market tries to pop up and it just can't pop up anymore. And then the market closes down and the bar closes down. It's showing you, hey, that was a weak level. So that could kind of give you a little more confidence of, hey, they tried to go up there, but there was a weak level, right? And it was just a weak price level, and this bar closed with momentum. What color? Short. And it closed with negative net, and it closed with what? Leading volume. It's a little bit more of a push down there, right? See that? See this green? Okay, here's red Paul print, here's green Paul print. Market pushed down here, kind of rejected a little bit. Kind of rejected. It's just showing you, hey, that was a weak price level. Okay? So again, you see how just those handful there can really help you out. So go through the training course, go through the forum post. Once again, each one of these things are listed out alphabetically for easy reference. Written explanations, screenshots, arrows. If you ever forget, man, what is that blue shade again? I am confused. What is that blue shade again? Well, let me go to the order prints terms and definition page. Okay. If I forget what that blue shade was, I don't have to go through hours of videos. I go to terms and definition. I'm just scrolling through the screenshot here. Ah, there it is, the blue shade. What is the blue shade? Oh, nope, that's not it. All right, this is showing you something else. That's showing you exhaustion about red and green boxes. Okay. What is the blue shade? I don't remember. Let me scroll down. Ah, blue shade. There we go. Blue shade is, yep, leading volume. That's what it was. Perfect. Okay, cool. And you can easily remind yourself what each one of those things are. Alphabetical order. Then you scroll down to the very bottom, okay, and you have the breakdown in the very bottom. Directional bias features, trade management features, okay? And again, where you want to start, one step at a time, is the directional bias features, okay? Easy enough. So from there, if you're on the forum page, you want to go to right here, putting it all together, okay? And again, I cover here that order prints is not a system, it's an indicator to be used in conjunction. All right, now this is very, very important. And again, this is covered in the training, but I want to cover it here too. Very, very important, because you know there's so many different aspects here and so many different ways you can use order prints. But when using, right here, okay, when using the directional bias features of OP, order prints OP, all directional bias features are not required to show up on one bar. Just because I broke down that list and there might be 10 different potential directional features, you don't need all 10 of them on one bar, okay? Sometimes you'll have them all show up on one bar, right? Sometimes you'll have a million different things show up on one bar. Sometimes you might only have one or two, okay? So they don't all have to show up. Sometimes a bunch will show, sometimes only one or two will show. But for a solid confirmation, you really want to see 3 or 4 show up on that bar for a solid confirmation. Now you can play with it, and if you decide to use a different number than that for your particular strategy, that's your decision, okay? But what I'm telling you here is for a good solid confirmation along with your other system, you want to see at least 3 or 4 of them show up on one bar, okay? Now, several directional bias features may show up on one bar but have conflicting indications, meaning what if 4 of them showed up on the bar and 4 of them are green but 1 is red? What do? Well, if you only have 1 conflicting signal on the bar, but that bar has leading volume, which is the blue shading, the leading volume can override that 1 opposing signal, okay? But if there's more than 1 opposing signal, it's invalid. Does that make sense? Everybody understand how kind of came to that rule? Again, OP is not a system, so there's not ABC 1, 2, 3 system rules, but as a kind of rule and starting rule there, that is what we've seen with testing is you could get a bunch on one bar, you can only get one on one bar. You want to have 3 or 4. And if you get one opposing, it's okay to take that as a good confirmation if there's leading volume. But if there's more than one, just don't use it as a confirmation. Okay? So on the previous page, I showed you where there's all the different aspects in alphabetical order, right? But then I walked you through on the chart some ones that really stand out really easy and are pretty good strong indications, right? And what were those? I talked to you about total volume acceleration, the lightning bolts. I told you about net volume acceleration, the lightning bolts. We talked about leading volume, the blue shades. We talked about momentum, which is the star printed at the top. And we talked about absorption, which is the X painted at the top, right? I ran through those with you and even just showed you real quick how just being aware of those can be strong indications. So even though on that other forum post there was about 10 different directional features I had listed under directional, right? Okay, well, back to our rules. Like we said, it's best that the bar have at least 3 to 4 confirming indications from that list. But you want at least 2 of them to be from this list. Did I just confuse anyone? Okay, because this is pretty important. Did I just confuse anyone? So on the terms and definitions page, okay, remember on the terms and definitions page where they're all listed out for you in alphabetical order and examples, down here I broke them down into directional bias features and trade management features. So there's several different directional features here. And we've already said you want to have 3 to 4 of these features on a bar to be a good indication, right? So you want to have 3 or 4 of these on one bar. But as I kind of went through these main ones here that really give you good indications, you want to have 3 or 4 indications on a bar, but you want at least 2 of those 3 or 4 to be from this list. Simple enough? Okay. Just to give you an example, remember I was telling you that once you get, for now, leave the defaults on, but once you get a good handle on it and you decide what you want to use or don't use, you could turn certain things on or off. Like in this example here, okay, you don't see all of the numbers, do you? So depending on your strategy or system, let me just show you here. So some of these have red numbers and green number, but see the black numbers here? That's what we call balanced volume. Okay, where there was some decent balance between the buy and sell side. There was nothing crazy that stood out with certain, imbalances or things like that. Okay, just what we call balanced volume. And maybe you don't want to see balanced volume. You want to turn off all the black numbers so that what stands out to you is, like right here, these green numbers, that's called an imbalance. It's just showing, hey, there was an imbalance in this bar on the long side, showing possible momentum, right? When there's an imbalance in that bar. Okay? So, you can turn those on or off, the black balanced volume. Okay? If that way, if you just want certain things to stand out more to you, you can do that. You can turn everything off or on. Okay? I do suggest that on your OP chart, that even though you're using your other, Apex system chart that has everything on it, go ahead and keep deviations and ice levels on your chart. All right, that way you can be aware of, even on both charts, is the market coming to a level. Or you can start to learn, hey, how does order prints react at these levels? How can I possibly help use order prints at these levels to see if it's going to break through with some momentum or acceleration? What does it do when it turns around? What does it do when it starts to chop? Just start to learn it that way, all right, and leave those on there, okay? So now coming back to this, remember we talked earlier about, hey, here's an IZSS setup. Okay, I showed you this earlier. Oh, here's an IZSS setup. Now does it make a little more sense, this screenshot I showed you earlier, and as to why that might give you some extra confidence to take that IZSS setup? Because now that you understand, because earlier you're like, when you saw the screenshot, you're like, okay, that looked cool, but oh, I get an IZSS setup, but now I see there's net volume in that bar. There's net volume acceleration in that bar with the lightning bolt, meaning there was only 7, the buyers only won by 7 contracts the last bar. Now they just jumped and won by 115. I like that. There's momentum in this bar because there's a star. There's leading volume in that bar because it's blue. And I've got a paw print at the bottom of that bar where it did try to retrace a little bit, and the buyer said, nope, not happening. That's a weak level. We're going up. That gives me a lot more confidence in that IZSS entry, does it not? And now that you're seeing this screenshot for the second time, you're like, ah, makes sense. And it's not near as confusing as to where I showed it to you just a little while ago at the beginning, is it? You haven't even gone through the training course or the forum, and these pieces are already kind of making some sense to you, right? Or hopefully I haven't confused anybody more here. So raise your hand if I have. So you see that, right? And even on this next IZSS entry, okay, technically your entry would have been right here. And again, I'm not telling you to change your rules of IZSS, but if you so decide to, hey, I want to see some confirmation, okay, then you would have gotten in here. And why? Well, look, you've got an up close bar with a momentum star going up, right? You've got imbalanced colors on the green side, right here. You've got a blue shaded leading volume. And then what do you have right here? Huge total volume acceleration lightning bolt. Because I've got 1,000 contracts, 2,800, 2,300, boom, 8,300 contracts, accelerated volume, up close bar, net volume, momentum, imbalance on the buy side, leading volume, right at an IZSS entry. Does that make me feel a little more confident on taking that entry? Yeah, right? And if all you had was just a blank continuum bar chart or a regular diagnostic bar chart, would you ever see this without order prints? If you were just looking at a diagnostic bar chart and you just saw an up close bar, a little wick, an up close bar, a little wick, up close bar, big wick, what's going on? You don't know. Now you see inside. You see inside what's going on. You know, we always talk about, everybody talks about the market, up, down, bulls, bears, the struggle. Do you now get a much better picture of the struggle and the fight between the bulls and the bears inside the bar? A lot of you have never even thought about that. We look at the overall daily, the overall trend battle of the bulls and bears. You see the struggle in the bar. And you kind of see the scorecard, right, of who's winning the boxing rounds, who's coming out on top, what's going on inside, right? And then boom, okay, I like that. Very cool, right? I showed you briefly earlier the IZSS swing trade, right? Y'all know that trade. Market pops up, pulls down a little bit. When it comes back up and it's breaking that high level, we want to enter a few ticks above. And what is it nice to see? Well, the bar before had negative. It closed up, but with what? Negative net volume, right? What's going on? That bar closed up with positive net volume. Okay? It had momentum star. It had imbalances on the green side. And it had leading volume. Right? I like that. I like seeing that, right? Okay? Now, real quick, I'm showing you some IZSS examples here. And the confirmation charts I'm showing you are diagnostic bars. Okay? So just a quick note right here. Order Prints works on diagnostic bars, continuum or shadow bars, and on time-based minute bars. The following examples I'm giving you here are based on diagnostic bars, even as an IZSS confirmation. It's totally up to you. You can test the various bar types and bar settings to see what works best for you. If you're trading IZSS on the continuum bars and you want your OP chart to match that exactly, you can do that. If you say, well, I like the different aspect of confirmation on the diagnostic bar just to put another mix in there, you can do that. It's totally up to you. Okay? It's completely up to you. All right? Let's see here. Craig brings up a good point that I want to keep in mind with you. OP works, the OP bars work, and they print with market movement. All right? So if the market's not moving to a new price level, you're not going to be seeing new numbers, right? But also means that market needs to be open. So let's say there's, times of day where certain markets aren't open, you're not going to see any movement on that. So don't be like, hey, OP is not working. Hey, let me submit a help desk to get, hey, let me do, okay? Same with Forex, all right? It does work with Forex markets, but I'll cover that here briefly in just a second. Thank you, Craig. That's a good point to bring up. I cover it in the training, but with Forex, you do have to have, where did I put that at? It's on the other post. I'll go back to that, but you have to keep that in mind that it's only going to plot as the market's moving, okay? And therefore, if a market is closed, it's not going to be plotting. And once again, it'll plot on different types of bars. So it's completely up to you what you want to use. All the examples I'm just using here are on, even though IZSS is on a continuum bar chart, I'm showing you confirmations on a diagnostic bar chart. They might not close at exactly the same level, so your entry may be a tick or two off if you're waiting for confirmation here, but I'm just kind of giving you an example here. You use it on any kind of bars you want. Okay, that's completely up to you. Now, as far as, let me just pull that up, and again, it's covered in the training as well. Over here under terms and definition, okay, at the very top here of terms and definitions, we go through and talk to you about loading the indicator and how it works on NinjaTrader and how the order prints will not paint historical data from during the times when your charts were not open. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, let's say that I open my chart. Okay, well, back here, remember? If my NinjaTrader was closed and then I open it right here at 9:30 and I add on order prints, it's going to start printing from there. Okay, if I don't have the chart open before that, I'm not going to have order prints before that. Okay, it's taking that live data that's coming in and using that and storing that. Okay, and so if I added it onto my chart at 9:30 and then I let my charts run all the way here till 11:22 and then I close my chart, right? Well, it will store that data, okay, from the time that I had it open. But if I come back 2 hours later and turn my charts back on, okay, I'll see it on my chart back here from when I had it open, but then I'm going to have just blank diagnostic bars during the time it was closed. Does that make sense? Okay, and that's all explained in the training and right here. The order prints indicator will not paint historical data from during the time your charts were not open. It only prints when receiving real-time data. Okay, and then it will store that for up to 1 week. And it will work with market replay. If you want to go back and replay it and test it out how it works, it does see replay as real-time data, and we'll show you, just like I showed you right there with replay. But you got to make sure with replay that you have the proper contract month loaded. Okay. Now, right here, order prints works on all instruments, including Forex, and can be plotted on diagnostic bars, continuum bars, or time-based bars. But if you're using it on, particular Forex markets, you have to make sure that the current Forex futures contracts are loaded into your instrument manager. And I cover this in the training. So if you're a Forex trader, make sure to go through the training videos. You have to have, 6A, 6E, and 6B loaded in. Okay, but it does work with those, excuse me, does work with certain those Forex pairs, but you have to have those loaded. Okay, so back to here. We've kind of gone through here. We've gone through the swing trades. What about C's? How about you C's traders? And you like to trade the swing trades, right? Where you've got the the yellow dots that come up for swing levels. And is it going to break that swing level or not break that swing level? Is it going to be a fake break? Well, it's kind of nice to see as the market's coming down there to a swing level. We already have certain, power play things we look at with VAD, right? And as they're exceeding VAD. But it's also nice to know when you see a bar breaking that swing level there, that it broke with total volume acceleration lightning bolt. It broke with net volume to the short side, and it broke with leading volume. That's kind of helpful and nice to see that, right? To help that extra confirmation there. Okay, what about a C's power play? We already love the power plays when you got chopped there at right at a certain level, and when it breaks through chop, you see that VAD starts to increase and exceed. That's already a great confirmation, but even more so when that bar has what? Total volume acceleration with a lightning bolt, net volume acceleration with a lightning bolt, a paw print at the top of that bar, and imbalances. Right? Nice to see that as an extra confirmation. All right. We talked about the elevator trade earlier, right? Market's coming up, takes a dip down, pops up when it's getting 3 ticks above the market there. Boom. That's a great confirmation to have for that elevator, right? We've got a paw print down here. We've got leading volume blue. We've got momentum star, and we've got net volume acceleration. It's nice to see that to help confirm that elevator trade. Does this make a little more sense now? Market's coming up, had a down close bar and up close bar. I'm looking for an elevator. Does this make a little more sense now? Why we wouldn't have taken this elevator? It's an up close bar. There was absorption showing, hey, it was absorbed down here. Why would I not take that as an elevator? Can anyone say? Just with this quick view that we've been over, how would you have stayed out of that elevator right there? What do you see? Right. The first thing you see is a lightning bolt on the downside, right? A lightning bolt on the short side. Okay. And what's the next thing you see? Negative net volume, right? So how many short side directional features is that? How many indications to the short side is that? 1 for acceleration total volume, 2 for negative net volume. There's 2. Do we use a bar as any type of confirmation if there's 2 opposing? No, we do not, right? Even though there might have been an imbalance here to see the green imbalance to the long side, there was absorption green, so we had 2 going one way, 2 going the other way. Invalid. And we're glad we stayed out of it, aren't we? Because the market went down. Okay? Now, if there had only been 1 opposing, let's say there was only 1 opposing Say the total acceleration bar was not there. Say that lightning bolt was not there. And we only had this one opposing negative net volume. Only one. Could we have taken this trade if it only had that one opposing signal? Could we have used that as confirmation? No. Why? Because there's no blue shade. There's no leading volume. Miriam got it. Yep, exactly. Okay? What about slings? We love our sling trades, right? What's a sling? Market's coming up. Then it kind of pulls down with a wick here. And then when the market comes up, like it pulls back, right? Like a slingshot or like a bow and arrow, and then release, boom, and sling up. We love those slings, right? We see it pull back. When it comes up and the bar closes, we enter 3 ticks. We all love sling trades. We've all had some sling trades kind of go against us though, right? Isn't it helpful to see what happens when that sling closes? It pulled back, boom, got rejected, made a paw print, green paw print, right? When it came up and closed, what did it have? Blue leading volume towards the top of the bar. It also had what? Net volume green, and then what? Total acceleration lightning bolt. Is that going to give you a little more confidence to take that sling as opposed to just a diagnostic bar with a wick that closed up? Yeah, right? Or what about the same thing? Market's coming up, pulls back, and what does it hit? Boom. Kind of rejects off that level. You've got a paw print, meaning a weak price level. The bar closes up. It's got blue shade leading volume. You've got a momentum star. You've got positive net volume. And then what do you have? Acceleration lightning bolt total volume. I'm going to feel a lot better about taking that sling for a scalp up. Yes? Okay, and look at this here. This is an example of a screenshot where those, the black numbers, the leading or the balance volume numbers are gone. When combining order prints with C's, this is kind of the simplest way to say it. When you're combining order prints with C's, we're just looking for the buyers or sellers to line up with your trade. Now, it's not needed to have acceleration or to have momentum and absorption in order to confirm a C's trade necessarily, but you can see from this screenshot, what do you see in here? See these imbalances? These green numbers are imbalances, all right? You have a pullback wick here and the bar closes up and you've got all these imbalances on this side. It's showing you the buyers are lining up that way. The buyers are lining up that way, right? You're looking for things to line up with your trade. Okay, does that make sense? All right, that's what we're looking for there. Okay, that's what order prints is telling you there. And the more you have, the better. You're just looking for it to all line up. Okay. How about you guys that love the apex pattern E, right? A, P, E. You can kind of barely see the E there. That bar closes, you get an E, and where do we enter? 3 ticks above, right? Okay. Well, what do we have here? We have the market coming down. This bar that closes up is our P bar. Here's our P bar, right? And what do we like about the P bar? Positive net volume and volume acceleration, okay? But we don't enter on a P, right? What is the second up close bar? Our E bar. What do we see on our E bar when it closes? We've got a paw print at the bottom. We've got blue shaded leading volume, and we've got momentum. And again, positive net volume. If I'm looking at a apex pattern in, setup, and I've got A, P, E, and I know I'm going to enter 3 ticks above the E, so I have my order weighting, I'm really liking the fact that on my E bar, when I'm looking for an up trade, I'm really liking the fact that on my E bar, it closed with what? Leading volume and momentum. Don't I feel a lot better about that entry and where I'm wanting it to go? Right? Yeah. What about you VAD traders? VAD and VAD 2.0. Let's look at this chart here. All right, so we've got VAD 2.0. Let's say you're trading VAD 2.0. And what happens here? Well, VAD switched to the long side, right? VAD E switches to the long side. So what are we looking for? Well, back here on VAD A, we had some down volume. Then we're matching blue and blue. And then we have some down bars. And what? There was not near as much down volume here as there was here. So that gives me divergence, right? And then it turns back to blue on this up close, and I have an entry on VAD 2.0, correct? Great trade, great entry, nice trend. Everybody see that? Well, what happened on this bar, these couple bars right here when you're looking for your VAD entry? Well, what do we see down here? You see some lightning bolts, you see some momentum, you see some leading volume, right? Helping you confirm that VAD entry. But another thought here. What if you missed that entry on VAD and you missed out on this nice big trade here? Well, let's take a look at something. Let's open up this, any of these screenshots, guys, you can click right on. So this was your original VAD entry here, right? When the market pulled down. And what are you seeing on these bars here as you're looking for your VAD entry? It's already, you already got a setup on VAD 2.0, but you're seeing bolts and momentums and leading volume. But let's say you missed that entry, you weren't looking, or you had to run to the bathroom. Well, what do you have just a couple bars later? You've got a pullback, you've got a sling trade, right? Confirmed with bolts and momentum and leading volume, right? What do you have right here? Uh-oh, we've got an up close bar with what? Net negative volume. That's a what? An opposing signal, right? But what do we have? Right? We've got some imbalances, we've got some momentum, and we've got leading volume. Okay? What else do we have here along the way that you can start to play with in demo trade? You've already got VAD confirming this, but you've got some other indications here throughout this trend of some momentum, some possible scalps, some pullback, and some sling trades, right? You might have elevator trades in there. Okay, so even when you miss an initial entry on something, like on VAD, you can then combine certain aspects of C's to VAD to, hey, I missed the initial entry getting me into that long trend, but is there going to be some slings in there? Is going to be some elevators in there, right? Okay, so Abdul says, I demoed yesterday afternoon in NQ IZSS with order print diagnostic, and it made me stay away from a retrace. I was able to get in with a swing, which took off after OP confirmation. I was like, OMG, awesome, Abdul, perfect. And I just showed examples of that, right? Of IZSS, getting in or out, and of swings. It's perfect. Yep, great job there. Again, it's just about seeing what the market is doing there. Here at the bottom, we've got some general info. I'm not going to go through all this right now with you. You know, go through it on your own as you go through the forum and the training course. Some general info about strong levels, trade management, general, you know, overview of order prints and things to look for at certain levels, how the market reacts at certain levels with order prints, things to start being aware of. You know, talking about later on when you look into trade management, how to use trapped orders and block orders to put your stops behind and trail your stops. Just some great information there. So all kind of stuff. So guys, just great stuff. I'm sure you guys are super excited about being able to use this and, you know, how you can start, you know, adding this on to your chart and have a separate chart with it starting Monday morning to go through all this. Guys, this is just the first release of order prints, okay? There's going to be new addition and new features coming to order prints, some new strategies we're working on. There's going to be something that I'm just super excited about, and Lori will tell you too, and Rick Wyatt, the man, institutional controlled reversal trade that will be coming out sometime in the next few weeks here. It is awesome. It is amazing, and we're still piecing that together with Mr. Wyatt here, but you're going to love it. It's unbelievable. It'll blow your mind. This is just the first release. There's much more coming here. For those of you that are not Apex members and you're on this webinar, hop on over to apexinvesting.com. You can sign up and get a free username and password to get access to all the free education, access to the order prints training course, absolutely free, to the forum posts that I just went through, absolutely free. So hop on over to Apex and do that. You can, if you want to actually use the order prints, charts, and indicator, you can sign up and get a 14-day trial to everything, including order prints, for just $7. Okay. After that, it's $200 a month for the elite membership. So the next thing to do, watch the training course, study the forum section, add it to your chart, check it out over the weekend, do some market replay if you want, be ready to use it. But just real quick, just kind of a limited time here. All right, this is our first release here of order prints. For those of you guys that are members of our Apex Elite membership, you know that the Apex Elite membership is $200 a month. Okay. Right now, we are just releasing order prints for everyone and getting it out there for use. Okay. But soon, sometime here in the next 30 to 45 days, as we do a couple other releases here and restructure our products, there will be a separate product, a separate membership. We'll have our Apex Elite membership for $200 per month, and then we'll have the Apex Order Prints membership separate for $200 a month. Okay. Or you can combine them and have a combo Elite and Order Prints for $299. All right, but that's going to be for new people at that time. That'll take effect here in 30 or 45 days. If you're already an existing Elite member and you're paying the $149 for the the $200, if you're a current member of Apex, whether you have Essentials or you have Elite or whatever it is, you're grandfathered in for the $200. You will have order prints, okay? Or if you're an annual member, yeah, okay. If you're an annual member, if you're a paying member of Apex right now, okay, you will have order prints. You will not have to pay the extra for order prints. You will not have to pay for the extra membership, or your $200 will not go up to $299 to have order prints. If you are a paying member of Apex right now, order prints will be included in whatever membership you have, okay? You're grandfathered in. And you'll be grandfathered in for any new members that sign up until we make that change, which will be sometime, like I said, in the next, say, 30, 45 days. So, if you're not currently a paying member of Apex and you want to become a, paying member and sign up for the $200 monthly, you can do that, and that will cover you. You'll be grandfathered in. Okay, and I'm not saying this to be pushy or to be salesy. I'm letting you guys know, okay, that will happen in the future. If you want to get grandfathered in, you can do that now. And that still gives you plenty of time to sign up as a free member of Apex, go through the free training course, learn how to use it, learn how to use all our other stuff, go through the free forum area, learn how to use this, watch other videos on all the other Apex stuff, okay? And keep in mind, if you get in now ahead of time, before this gets split up, for the $200 a month Elite membership, you don't get just order prints. You get order prints, every strategy, every system, the Elite trade, you get everything that Apex offers, okay? And you get it all. Like I started off this whole, no, I don't have those dates just yet, Kelly. Like I started off this whole webinar with the Google Maps and the roadmap. Order prints is not enough by itself. All right? The overview is not enough by itself. You need it all. All right? And you can get that all with the $200 a month Elite membership. Gives you everything we offer and order prints for now. But you have to get grandfathered in before it goes up. If you get in afterwards, it's still only, $200 a month if you just want order prints, or $299 if you want both. So there will be combos, but you can get in now and be grandfathered in. But it still gives you time. As a free member, watch the videos, go through the forum, learn it, okay? And then after you've watched the free course and you've gone through the free forum and you've got a handle on it, then, okay, then sign up for the 14-day trial for only $7. Because you've learned how to use it, then you can use the actual Apex toolkit for 2 weeks for only $7. Okay? You know, guys, I see so many people come into Apex and they're like, oh, that's awesome. I can only pay $7 and get a 14-day trial. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and just sign up for $7 and I've got 2 weeks. And now I'm going to start watching videos. Guys, you're wasting your trial. You don't need to pay us for education. We give it to you free. You don't need to be on a trial to watch free videos. You don't need to be on a trial to go through a free forum post. You don't need to pay anything. You don't even need to give us a credit card number to get a free membership and go through the training courses. Watch the free courses. Go through the forum posts. When you think, hey, I've got a good handle on this, now I want to pay $7 and be able to actually use it for 14 days. When you sign up for a trial, you should literally sign up for a trial, pay the $7, and it says you're in, and then download the toolkit and be using it that day. You should not be watching free courses during a trial. Does that make sense? Like you're wasting your trial. And what I'm trying to tell you here is this is not a sales webinar. I'm not telling you here, now that I showed you this cool stuff and cool screenshots, go and sign up. I'm literally telling you not to sign up. I'm literally telling you to only go sign up for a free membership right now. Watch the training courses. Go through the forum. Learn for free. Get a handle on it. Then sign up for the trial when you're ready to start using it that day to make the most of your 14-day trial. Does that make sense? We're not here to push sales webinars for $7, okay? I'm here to try to get you to learn this, learn it right, take advantage of the free education, hop in on the trial, start using it, hop in the Elite Trade Room, ask questions, get help, and be with us here long term, okay? So that is the next step. Watch the courses, check out the forum, get signed up, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And guys, I know we've kind of went long here. I hope you can see the power of this though and why I went a little longer. Apex order prints is just simply amazing, and combining it with these other Apex systems, you will just love every bit of it. So take the weekend here to watch the training course. Once again, let me just show you, just so you know, if you're on the Apex homepage here, you can go under Start Elite Education. You can go under the first one, which is Futures, Forex, or Stocks, and it's right here, Order Prints Training Course. If you're a spread trader, go here to Spread Systems, it's right there, Institutional Order Prints. If you're a binary trader, it's right here under Binary System, Order Prints. Okay, that's the step-by-step training courses. Here, if you go to the forum page, open the forum, and you go down to S6, which is section 6, okay, institutional order prints. That takes you to the forum section I just talked to you about, and the main two sections you want to start off with, terms and definitions, and then putting it all together, simplifying and trading. It's all right there, okay? So that is that. So guys, I appreciate it. Let me go back through here, and we covered the main meat and potatoes there I wanted to cover. Let me just take a look here at some of these questions. Ed says, wow, what a powerful new tool. Thank you. Yes, Ed, absolutely. I know some of your questions I got answered here. Some of them we won't have, we won't have time to cover all of these here, and a lot of these are covered already in the step-by-step training course. Let's see here, and in the forum post. Jack, you're asking about OP being different in spreads as compared to binaries. I'm not sure what you mean by that. It just all depends on what strategy or system that you're trading there, that you can use order prints to help confirm. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. To load order prints with diagnostic bar chart, or can it be loaded on Continuum? Yeah. We covered that, Abdul. Yep, you can load it on diagnostic bars, continuum, shadow, time-based bars, whatever you want there. Keith, can serialized settings act like a template that I want to send? Yes, that's exactly what it's for. If you you know, have a certain special chart template that you're using with certain colors and certain aspects that, you know, of order prints that you're using that someone else really likes and they request from you, yep, you can send them the serialized settings. Let's see here. Abdul, is leading volume and exceeding volume. Right, leading volume is completely different from like exceeding volume on our, you know, expected volume indicator. But yeah, leading volume is the blue painted here, and then acceleration total volume, acceleration net volume. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Is there a way to know that the negative volume is on the stop run down for downtrending market? Walter, that's a good question as far as negative volume. Yeah, and guys, as you go through some of the forum posts there's one of the posts that talk about that, Walter, as well. Walter's question was like, you know, hey, sometimes just because there's accelerated volume, total or net, that may not just be at the top of a trend, it could be at the bottom of a trend. And that's something you'll learn a little more about as you just start to get a handle on order prints and as you start to get into some of the trade management features for later on. And there's a screenshot that's similar to what you're talking about there, Walter, but also involving block orders. Okay, you know, a lot of times people are thinking, oh, when high volume and block orders come in and volume come in, it's the start of a trend. Well, you'll also see at times that as a trend's coming down and kind of starting to end, even down at the bottom there, you can see some acceleration and, you know, some heavy block type orders and heavy just finishing out that trend. Okay. It's just you know, it might be a stop run one way or the other, or it might be just a final push to that before the market turns around. Just all things that you'll be able to take a look at there and learn over time as you're learning to watch OP and what each aspect means. And, you know, another good thing to look for there is, are you around levels, you know? Let's see here. Victor, color of bars, tell me up, close, down. Victor, if you're confirming, you're asking about use 10 ticks or 6 tick. You know, if you're using diagnostic bars for your order prints and you're using it to confirm another diagnostic bar system, like let's say you're trading the C system and you're using 10 tick diagnostic bars, then I'd probably use 10 tick diagnostic bars on my OP as well. You know, if you want to use 6 to like, hey, I want to get a little earlier indication, you can do that. But for the most part, I like to see it match pretty close as to what I'm doing. Galena, is it possible to combine those strategies for any 5-minute binaries? Yeah, if there's a strategy you're using for binaries, spreads, stocks, Forex, CFD, whatever it is, whatever your current system is that you're using, this is just an extra indication to give you an extra confirmation of taking that trade, what's going on in that bar. Okay. Oh, Gene says, can you run it at 50 times? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that for you. Let's see here. Let's see here. You want me to run it? Okay. Just for a little fun here, Gene says, can you run it for a minute at 50 times speeds? Everybody can experience the Christmas lights. Okay, sure. Why not? Let's just run, whoops, let's see here. Let's just run order prints real fast for you here so you can experience the Christmas lights. There's 100 times speed there for you while I'm talking. Let's see. How would you set up and say an IZSS chart with OP, side by side or overlaid? Walter, I would personally overlay it. There's just so much already on a IZSS chart. To add this on top of it, you're just going to make a mess at first, especially if you leave the default settings, you know, which I recommend that you do. You know, later on, if you decide there's only certain things you're wanting, like, well, you know, I just want stars and, you know, lightning bolts. Well, that may not be too much to add on to IZSS, but for now, I would have a separate chart. Okay. I mean, you can add it to your chart. Marion says, oh, is there a separate chart? We do not have a order prints template put in the forum, because with order prints, and I'm honestly not sure that we ever will have a general one. There might be a certain strategy one that we put in there, but with order prints, all you gotta do is just add on the indicator. Some people will want to add it on to their existing chart. Some people are going to add it onto their chart and take off certain settings, certain colors. Certain people are going to have it on a separate chart but only use certain aspects. So right now you just add the indicator onto your chart. There is no template for it. Okay, you can add it on how you would like it there. Let's see here. Myron says, how can you guys keep outdoing yourselves? Awesome. That is trading on steroids with a plan. Myron, thank you. That is awesome. And man, just throw it up. Throw the chart up for yourself and see it. Run some market replay like this here. And you can play with it over the weekend, and then you know, have those charts up on Monday morning ready to go. Darby, you're welcome from Red. Have a good weekend as well. Glad I joined the webinar. Doesn't seem as yeah. Marion says, glad I joined the webinar. It doesn't seem to be as complicated as I thought it would be. And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. There is a lot to it. And when you first see this, you're just like, what? This will take me weeks and months to get. I'll never learn all that. There's so much here. But when I broke it down for you by directional features, trade management features, forget about trade management features right now. Let's focus on directional features. And with directional features, let's start off by getting your eyes accustomed to lightning bolts on total and net volume, stars on momentum, blue shades on leading volume, right? Some prints. When we start there and then add on, it's not quite as complicated, is it, Marion? Even just with this quick webinar, we weren't even far into it, and you were already seeing the power of there's a setup, and oh, it's got acceleration, it's got imbalances, it's got momentum, got some leading volume. I like it. It's not too hard when you start with the basics, is it? Okay, not too hard. Linda says, I'm not seeing the OP in the toolkit. Okay, Linda, did you upgrade your toolkit to the most recent version? Okay, you do have to upgrade your toolkit. All right, so make sure to upgrade it to be able to see it here. Okay. Yes, you need to reinstall the Apex toolkit. If anybody's having trouble with that or not seeing something, okay, Linda says, yep, I see it now. Okay. Chris, yes, exactly. Net volume, yes, that's what it'd be considered. Okay. Yeah, Abdul, again, if OP is not working with your market replay, make sure, first of all, what you might want to do is just kind of start fresh, close Ninja, upgrade to the most recent toolkit, clear Ninja cache, start over with replay. Okay, and you got to make sure when you first open, you know, NinjaTrader to download replay, before you load your chart that you're wanting to pull data from, you have to make sure you go in there to that setting, and you probably know this, Abdul, but you got to make sure that you go in there to that option setting of, you know, record for market replay. So if you're having trouble with it, just start fresh. It's working okay for me. As you can see here, I've got it going live. If you have any troubles, send in a help desk ticket. We can see what we can help you with. Let's see here. Yeah, we are, Vladimir, it will be released in NT8 as well when we release NT8. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yep, that will be in there. Yes. Yeah. I think the toolkit that you need to do is March 9th. It doesn't say order prints. It just says some updates or fixes, and order prints is included in there. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, taking out this time on a Saturday afternoon. I know we've gone quite a ways here, but hop on in there. Thank you so much for your questions and for your input here and your great feedback. Hop on in, check out the training course, check out the forum post. Again, make sure to hop on and get your free membership if you're not already a free member, and go through the course. Get on the trial and get on the monthly memberships before the new products come out. That way you're grandfathered in. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. Go through those courses, put any questions you might have there in the forum, and we will see you in the Elite Trading Room on Monday. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend.